Welcome on the show, Braydon Bent.
Winner of last year's BAFTA Young Presenter competition, Braydon.
Manchester City's biggest little fan, Braydon.
Let me introduce Braydon Brent.
Please welcome to the stage, Braydon Bent.
A 14-year-old BAFTA-nominated TV presenter. His Instagram has over 110,000 followers and he presents for Sky News, Man City and BAFTA.
Since then it's obviously been like a roller coaster, and he picked me up and was like, here you go Braydon, give me a sign, and it said you're going to America, and that was the best thing ever. And also FYI was nominated for BAFTA as well, and we were lucky enough to win it.
How has this career, how has this job affected your childhood?
Of course with school, I'm missing a lot of school.
Welcome on the show, Braydon Bent. I just want to say I really admire you because I think you're a year younger than me and you've already achieved so much. So how are you doing today?
I'm brilliant. Thank you so much, first of all, for the introduction. It's very nice of you. But I'm great. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm doing well. So if people don't know who you are, explain to them what you do.
I'm Braydon. I'm 13 years old, 14 actually, turned 14 last week. 6th of March, so 14 now, year 9 at school, and I'm a TV presenter for Sky Sports, Sky News. We've got a weekly show going on at the moment. I do a lot of stuff for Manchester City Football Club, and also do stuff for BAFTA. So it's been pretty good at the moment. It's nice and busy. But overall, I'm just a TV presenter, really.
Yeah. So let's go right back to the start. So what were you like as a kid before any of these presenting opportunities happened?
So it was how long ago was it now? It started 7 years ago now. So
wow.
When I was 6 years old. I was quite talkative, of course, pretty confident young lad. And I think the main thing was I just never shut up, to be honest with you. I know my mum and dad say that as well. Feel sorry for them sometimes. But yeah, I just never shut up. And it all started with me from a competition as well. So it was one of them things where it was just about getting involved and having a go, really. And I was willing to do that. So I was, happy young lad, really, and super talkative.
Yeah, so you say about that competition. So what was the first thing that drew you, threw you into this industry? Was it a competition? What was that competition?
Yes, so it all started really. It's a crazy story because since then it's obviously been like a roller coaster. I've got to do so many incredible things. But it started with me with a competition, as you said. And it was to meet Sergio Aguero, who, if you don't know, he's a former Manchester City striker now, one of our best ones ever. And he was playing for us at the time. This was when he was, he was brilliant. And there was a competition to meet him. And basically, all you had to do was submit a video, singing a chant maybe, dancing. I did his famous celebration where I took off my top in the bedroom and went crazy. Back. It's a little bit embarrassing, but that's where it all came from. And basically, it was anything to catch Sergio Aguero's eye. So I entered, as I say, I recreated his famous goal 93-20, where he took off his top, and I did that in my mum and dad's bedroom. And I was lucky enough to win that competition. And then I went into the training ground, met all of the players, and of course, Sergio Aguero. And I was pretty confident at the time. And from there, that's how it kick-started for me. And I got so many incredible opportunities off the back of that.
Yeah. So you say about that original Manchester City video. And you say about the opportunities. So what was like some of the first opportunities that came off the back of that?
So the first one after that was there was an idea. So Pep Guardiola, who's still the City manager, on his first day or first couple of days in Manchester, they had this idea to get a group of people and put him in a taxi with Pep Guardiola, but without him knowing. They might not know. I'm not 100% sure about the others. I know one I'm still in touch with now, Kyle Walker. He's a good lad. But I was seven or eight at the time.
Okay.
I had no idea about this. So they called up my dad, said, we've got this idea. We'll put him in a taxi with Pep Guardiola on his first day. But do not tell him. Don't tell him. And obviously, Dad's thinking, oh, yeah, whatever. You're joking. And it turns out real. And up until the actual day, or literally the day before, it was, will it go ahead? Will it not? And it ended up going ahead. So I thought I was just getting a taxi with the kit man at the time, who's Les Chapman. And he was going to take me around Manchester in a black cab and show me where our old stadium used to be, and which is now Houses Main Road, and just show me around Manchester generally. Yeah. And then when I got in the back, obviously the main man was in there. So it was just the most incredible thing, and my reaction was basically too stunned to speak, and we had a conversation. I invited him round for tea, and that was viral. It was one of City's most successful ever videos. On Facebook, I think it got around 20 million views alone.
Wow.
It went really big. And then off the back of that, City then had another idea. And this was the best thing ever for me. I don't think anything, will ever top it. There's a few that are very strong contenders, but basically, they were going to take me around America, and they did take me around America.
Wow.
For 2 weeks, stopping off at every single state, all the way from LA to Nashville to deliver Vincent Kompany's captain's armband. So they told me at the training ground again. I had no idea about this, and he came up and was like, "Right, here you go, Braydon. And he gave me a sign, and it said you're going to America." And that was the best thing ever. We had a car, and it had Braydon's Captain's America on it, is what it was called. And that was the best experience. We stopped at every single state, and basically we were just trying to recruit Manchester City fans and make people Manchester City fans across America. And then again, that was almost like a series documentary type thing, and that went massive as well. So they're really the first two main things that came off the back of that. And as I say, they were two of the most incredible things I think I'll ever do.
Yeah. So what was like the first presenting proper TV appearance that came off that?
So there was one. So at the moment, I'll come on to it. I'll go for this one first. So there's something called Little Big Shots, which is a TV show where they get you on and they get the young people on that have gone viral, and they get you on, they talk to you, and you recreate some goals. So I did that. They got me on with Dawn French, and it was, again, brilliant little thing. And that was almost like a guest on TV. And that was probably the first big thing that I did on telly. But the first proper TV presenting where I was doing the actual, presenting frontman was FYI, which I'm still doing now. I'm the only presenter that's still going from the first episode, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I did the pilot and stuff, and that was brilliant. And as I say, I've continued doing it now. So FYI is a new show on Sky News that goes out on a Saturday and Sunday on the main channel, and also on Sky Kids that you can see. And it's a new show presented by kids, for kids, and it gets all the news in the week and puts it into 15 minutes, and then you can watch it, because we feel that sometimes, when you watch the news, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, young people tend to not watch adults.
Yeah.
But we feel like it can get a little bit overwhelming, if you know what I mean. Because there's so much information thrown at you in, such little time. So the idea was to get all that news from across the whole week and condense it into 15 minutes and put it into simpler ways, of understanding. And it's been really successful, actually. And as I say, still doing it now. So it's gone really well. And off the back of that, I've had some, phenomenal opportunities with BAFTA as well, which, came actually before Sky. So it's almost been like a roller coaster for me.
Yeah, so you mentioned about how successful FYI has been. It's now BAFTA award winning, isn't it?
Yeah. So not the other week, a few months ago, there was the BAFTAs, and I was lucky enough to be nominated for a presenter award, which I was unfortunate to miss out on. But there was a worthy winner there, and also FYI was nominated for a BAFTA as well, and we were lucky enough to win it. So it's from the start. We've done, I think, around the last milestone that I remember recording was 300 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And I've been lucky enough to be a part of pretty much every single one of them. So and long may it continue. Touch wood. But yeah, it's doing really well at the moment.
Yeah, so like how was that night of like being at the BAFTAs? It's seen as probably the biggest television awards in the UK. Like, how was that?
Yeah, it was brilliant, really. So I work for BAFTA as well, doing for the big BAFTAs, the TV one, and I've done a few of them over the years. But I'm usually interviewing the stars, for example,
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston, all the big stars. I'm usually talking to him. But that time was a little bit different because I was up for one and the show was up for one. And it was a wonderful night. There were so many brilliant people there. And overall, it was just a phenomenal experience, really.
Yeah. So like when you were told that like you would be on a TV show, FYI, like what was your reaction to that?
Well, I'm sure it was, yeah, of course. What, amazing. It was a few years ago, so I can't really remember. But I know I was super excited, of course. Going to the Big Sky Studios for the first time. I mean, it's still great going now. And I do it every Wednesday, and it just doesn't lose its spark. So can't imagine the first time. I must have been ecstatic. But yeah, delighted really, because I remember I did the pilot, that the pilot where they have like almost like the dummy run of it, so they can see what it would be like. And off the back of that, they said, "Yeah, let's give it a go." And as I say, it's picked up momentum over the years, and here it is now.
Yeah. So how old were you when you got that original job on the pilot?
I think I was 9, 8 or
Wow.
9. 8 or 9. So I've been doing it for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah, so you mentioned also before, we're jumping a bit back and forth here, but you mentioned before, FYI, you were involved with BAFTA. So you won the BAFTA Young Presenter competition. When you just 8 then, were you?
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
around 7 or 8. And yeah, so that was something else that we decided to enter. So it was the BAFTA Kids Young Presenter competition, which again, from winning that to the show winning one and being nominated for one, what a journey.
Yeah.
So so the BAFTA Kids Young Presenter competition, I think I won it in 2017-18. And basically you had to interview a family member about an old movie or TV show that you didn't know about. So I interviewed my dad about Jaws. I still haven't watched it, actually. To be honest with you, what the fuss was about, it doesn't look great. I interviewed my dad about Jaws, and we submitted, just give it a go, taking each opportunity. And yeah, I was lucky enough to win that. And again, off the back of that, we've been to so many incredible nights with BAFTA, met so many, brilliant people, whether that's the big actors and also the people behind. So, what a community. It's almost BAFTA. It almost is like a big family, because once you're involved with them, that's it, you know what I mean? And they're such lovely people, whether, as I say, if it's meeting Tom Hiddleston or if it's meeting the people behind the scenes, everybody's just lovely there. So that was, one of them. From winning that, that's where I got a lot of my confidence from, I would definitely say.
Yeah, so from winning that, you were invited onto a number of the red carpets to do lots of different interviews. So do you think that winning that helped you get that job on FYI?
Well, yeah, it did 100%. So the job on FYI didn't come from an audition or anything like that. So it actually came from the BAFTA Kids Young Presenter competition. So it wasn't, it wasn't a separate thing.
Yeah.
So a man called Chris Rogers was on the judging panel at the time, and he's again a lovely man. We still work with him, yeah, he was one of the judges as part of this competition that I was lucky enough to win. So thanks to him. And he had this idea for FYI. It was his idea, along with a few other people at Fresh Start Media. And yeah, it all really came off the back of that. As I say, it's been like one thing to another, and you take one opportunity and it leads to the next. Exactly. the only way I can describe it is like a roller coaster.
Yeah. So you mentioned obviously about the BAFTA Young Presenter competition. I entered the competition last year. Sadly didn't get anywhere, but they gave me some great advice, and I'm gonna enter again this year because the deadline is the end of April. So what advice would you give me for entering that competition?
So first of all, I'd just like to say I wasn't part of the final decision, but there's rounds before that where you get different people to judge the rounds before. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was part of that panel for a couple of the rounds before, and I remember watching you.
Oh.
And I said, no, I do. I remember watching.
Oh.
And yeah, you were right up there. I know that. You made
Thank
it
you.
through. I don't know how far mine was from the final, decision.
Yeah.
But you made it past mine. So.
Oh, thank you.
But I think reading up on your stuff is really important, which obviously I can see from yourself you have been doing.
Yeah.
That's super important because with what I do, sometimes you're talking about politics, for example.
Yeah, which is a very complex subject, isn't it?
I'm not a massive fan of politics. It's not my thing, but you've got to do it. So you have to read up, you have to know your people,
Yeah.
and you know a bit of background knowledge. And once you get that, when you go into it, you feel a lot more confident and you can understand what you're talking about a lot more. So I think one would be to definitely read up on whatever you're doing. Get your background information. Of course, practice. A good example is when so me and my sister used to come into this bedroom, actually, one of the back rooms, and we had like a pretend microphone, and we used to pretend we were on the radio and play songs from an iPad. Looking back again, it was maybe a little bit embarrassing, but it's made me what I am today, and I think that's a great one. You're just practicing making content, and whether you post that or not doesn't make a difference. For example, the radio thing with my sister, that never got shown. That was never posted. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. So I definitely say, make content and, be yourself as well. Everybody likes it when someone has a bit of personality on it, Anyone can piece of paper, read from a script, whatever, you could want to do it. But as soon as you read it and then put your own spin on it, it makes it a completely different thing. You've got a sentence, and as I say, anyone can read it, you know what I mean? You could pick anyone. It's how you read it that makes the difference. So I'd say put your own spin on it, read up on what you're doing, and just practice making content.
Yeah, you mentioned about that, like playing around with being like on a fictional radio station. I think literally everyone has done that. I think lots of DJs have said that, and I've actually done it. I used to have this thing called my fictional radio station, and I would just like present a fictional radio station, and I think my parents got sick of it. I remember reading this like long list of County Durham events, which is the county I live in, and I read all of them on this fictional radio station, and my brothers had to listen to me.
Well, that's great. That's brilliant. That's one of them stories that you look back on and remember. Yeah. And as I say, yeah, literally, I don't even think we recorded mine. So me and people just sit on the floor and put some, I don't know, we were Greg James from the radio.
Yeah.
They're just little things that, of course, I think they do give you confidence boosts as well.
Yeah.
Doing little things now and again. And I think the important thing to highlight is that you don't even need to post it. Obviously, that can be the next step, getting your content out there. But just practicing with a friend or whatever, it does make a difference.
Yeah. And then that is great advice. Thank you for that. So along with FYI, in 2020, you got your own TV show called Braydon Meets, where you interviewed lots of celebrities, from Boris Johnson to Justin Timberlake to Jamie Oliver. So how was that whole experience for you?
Yeah, that was great. It's a shame because we were going to do more, but then COVID hit. But that was great, that was another thing that kick-started off the back of FYI. Meeting them, people were brilliant. We went to interview Justin Timberlake, who you mentioned, in America, in LA, at DreamWorks, the movie of Trolls that was coming out. So that was, got a trip out of that.
Yeah.
And he was a lovely man. I think it was Anna Kendrick with him as well, and they were both brilliant. That was a great interview. Jamie Oliver, I remember, I think I made him scones, whatever you want to call it. Can't start any arguments now. But I put way too much salt in it, and I don't think he liked him.
Oh dear.
That was a fun. What else? Danny Rose was on it. The former Tottenham player. I interviewed him when he was at Tottenham, and of course Boris Johnson, a familiar name.
Yeah.
Twice in the end. So you know, it was a great experience. I did it inside number 10.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I've done a few now.
So, like, when you do these interviews with big celebrities, like, do you get very nervous?
I think nerves are normal, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'm a top lad that, you know, he's brilliant. Tom Grennan, he's a singer. I was with him filming something for the One Show. It was an interview called When I Was 13, I think, and it was about taking him back to where he used to live when he was my age.
Yeah.
He said, one of the best quotes ever, turn nerves into excitement. I think that's exactly what I do, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's key, really. You got to turn them nerves into excitement and perform off the back of them. I think I enjoy the pressure, you know, being live or interviewing these celebrities. But funny story, the most nervous I've ever been was joining a new football team. So I've done, joining a new football team was the one that...
Wow. And you mentioned about like everyone getting nervous. Like when I interviewed Claudia Winkleman, I asked her about getting nervous before Strictly, and she said she gets so like absolutely nervous. So like she said, if Tess Daly, who's the co-presenter, is wearing like a dress with long arms, it's because she had been holding like her arm so tightly because she was so nervous for like every single show. And like when she did her first Radio 2 show, she was just so nervous. Like even a person that's so like established like her, she still gets really nervous every single time.
Yeah, it's normal. Of course, everyone feels nerves. Of course, whether that's going on to present Strictly Come Dancing or whether that's going into a school exam, you know, everyone. But as I say, I'm not going to take credit from it because it was Tom, but turn nerves into excitement.
Yeah, great quote that. And you said about they were going to do some more Braydon meets, but COVID got in the way. So do you think it has the potential now to come back for a series 2?
Well, you never know, do you? You never know. There might be a few other things. I've just recently done one with the One Show. As I say, with Tom Grennan, that wasn't long ago. So that could kind of class as one. But you never know, do you? I'm sure there'll be a few more. Hopefully, maybe not with Braydon meets, maybe in the future. But we'll just see.
Oh, so like obviously you've got so successful because of your like outgoing personality as a kid. So as you grow older, like how do you think that will change, and how do you think your career that's built on being a kid presenter will change as you grow older?
Yeah, I think you've got to adapt, of course. You're never gonna be the same as a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
I think you keep your personality, you still put your own spin on things. And of course, I think when I first joined FYI, I was very much the happy presenter, for example, that would do all the light-hearted subjects and, you know, go here and there for a laugh. But as I've been doing it for longer, I've started to take, you know, more of the heavy subjects.
Yeah.
For example, I've been to Brazil in the favelas talking with kids that risk their lives to go to school every day. I've done darting elephants, lions and buffaloes in South Africa, talking about conservation. And also I did one recently in Jordan in the refugee camp Zatra, talking to refugees. So I think as it's gone on, you got to take on more of the heavier subjects. You know, the big one at the moment is the earthquake in Syria and the refugees. And they're not easy ones, you know, to talk about.
Yeah.
Do it in the right ways. But I think, you know, as I've done it for longer, you know, you're always learning. I think, you know, you change your ways and you can get your head around more almost. But of course, you're changing all the time and you never know where it's going to end up. So fingers crossed on, but we'll see.
So do you think beyond FYI, do you think you want to carry on presenting into adulthood and doing this as a long-term career?
Yeah, hopefully. I know I might. I think I've got a year left on FYI. And eventually, FYI is a new show presented by kids for kids. And
Yeah,
if I look at 18, it doesn't fit in with it. You know what I mean? And I
yeah.
understand soon enough it'll be time to move on. But you never know. As I say, we'll just see how it all goes in the future. I've got school to finish, of course. But
Yeah.
hopefully it continues.
If you're enjoying the interview so far, please do subscribe, because we are trying to grow the show so I can post more interesting interviews with interesting people every 2 weeks on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Let's get back into the interview. So you mentioned about obviously that you'll leave FYI. So like after that, do you think you'll still keep within like the news area, or do you think you'll move more into like the entertainment area of TV?
As you say, I'm open to everything, really. I mean, the news is obviously what I'm doing at the moment, but I'm a big football fan. I'm a big sports fan. So I did a bit for, the transfer deadline day for
Yeah,
Sky Sports.
yeah.
That was brilliant. So I had a piece on that. And I think hopefully, as I say, you never know how it's going to go. But if I was to presume now, what I was going to move into as I go a bit older, I'd definitely say the sports, because I love my football and I like my sports.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned about sports. You've been part of the match day broadcasting, haven't you? Man City, doing lots of different content there, haven't you?
Yeah. So at the moment with City, it's been brilliant. Of course, doing it from a young age, and now it's picking up again. So before a match day, City have got something called City Square, which is like a big stage outside the stadium where they have entertainment. So I do a bit of that before the games. And then we have something called West Reception, where the bus arrives and all the players get off, do the high fives. But before that, there's competitions. And I'm lucky enough to host the competitions, go around with all the kids, say who wants a wristband to come and high five the players. And we do really fun stuff at City. City's brilliant. And of course, being a massive supporter as well, couldn't get any better. So announcing the players off the bus and just doing, well, as you say, working with City, it's been brilliant. And as I say, I've been doing it from such a young age. But being involved with so many different things, it's great.
Yeah, you've got a real like variety in your career and what you do, from BAFTA to FYI to Manchester City. So like how has this career, how has this job affected your childhood?
Well, of course, with school-wise, I think with friends and stuff, it's not really affected it at all.
No.
I think that's been fine for me. I've been lucky, but of course, with school, I'm missing a lot of school. And this was before COVID. I missed pretty much all of year 6. I was out filming a lot of the time, and
Yeah.
it's busy at the moment. So I miss every Wednesday. So every week, I'm in London at Sky Studios. But I found it okay, to be honest with you. I catch up on all the work. Of course, I've got a good relationship with the school, so they send me it. And as long as I get it done, as long as I'm, hitting them good grades, getting them targets, then they're fine with it. And at the moment, it seems to be going really well. So of course, it's almost about doing the juggling, and you got to put in the hours, on the train and stuff on the way back, whether that's sometimes at 1 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock midday. So there is hours that you have to put into it, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I can imagine it's really worth it. It's like when you do them big trips off to film documentaries or do other stuff internationally. I'm guessing you just like, do you just catch up on the work while you're out there or when you come back?
Yeah, so a recent one is the World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go to that with a charity called Football for Peace, as I'm one of the I'm a young peace envoy, so part of like a young ambassador for the charity. And that's a brilliant charity because it's using the positive power of football to highlight, some of the big issues. And we went out there talking about the water crisis and what we can do to help, while also using, football at heart, and he's done so many amazing things over the years. So anyway, we went out with them to Qatar for quite a long time. So during the World Cup, and I missed a lot of school. But I got back, I did some of the work in Qatar in the hotel, brought some of my books over. I was always in contact with the teachers over email, and it all went really well, actually. I'm up to date with all the schoolwork, and yeah, it's fine, actually.
Yeah. So how do you think that will change going into like doing GCSEs?
Yeah, so my GCSEs, I've just picked my options, actually.
Oh, what have you
Not
picked?
so obviously you got to do maths,
Yeah,
English.
yeah,
I like my drama. I've done history over
yeah.
geography.
I did history over geography as well.
I like my history. What else did I pick? I picked religion, religious education. God,
Language? Do you have to do a
Spanish.
language? Spanish. Oh,
It was between Spanish and Latin. And to be
oh,
fair, Latin, it's one of them things where if you hear it, everyone's like, whoa. But Latin's brilliant, and it was a tough decision, but I've gone Spanish. What else have I got? Oh, I've gone drama, Spanish history, RE. I'm trying to think now. There's a few others. Anyway, yeah, I think they were good choices. I hope anyway. But yeah, so they're coming up. Just started the courses for those. And yeah, so if it continues to be busy, obviously it's a vital time to stay on top. But
yeah,
I think I'll be okay, hopefully.
yeah. Latin's an interesting one.
Yeah, I know it's so. I mean, it is difficult, not at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Once you get your head around it, it's okay. But it's like the base of all the other languages as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
good understanding of Latin, you get a decent understanding of Spanish. And as I say,
Mm.
it was a tough decision, but I did end up going Spanish.
Yeah, I went French over Spanish. Me. I,
I didn't, so I wouldn't know. But
I don't really like either, to be honest. Don't really like languages, but got to do one, so picked one.
of course.
So obviously I've already mentioned as well about you traveling across the world to speak at events. You when you were younger, you did one in Dubai at an expo, I think. And obviously film loads of documentaries in Brazil and the other places that you said. So like how has been like being to get and experiencing all these different cultures from such a young age?
Yeah, that's a great question actually. So I've got to travel around a lot, even at such a young age. As I mentioned, Brazil, South Africa, Jordan, Qatar recently, America. So all these amazing places, but all for different, things. So for example, the Brazil and the favelas was a real eye opener, and it was quite a serious subject. Whereas the one
Yeah,
I with City was very light-hearted.
yeah.
So it's brilliant to have all these experiences, from across the world, and I'm so lucky to be able to travel as much as I have done so far.
Yeah, I can imagine. It just sounds amazing, especially the one across America you did. It just amazing to experience all them different like mini countries, as in with all them different states.
Yeah. A good story was we stopped at a place called Pie Town. So it
Okay,
was a
Pie Town. Okay,
I think it was in New Mexico.
okay,
About halfway through, and there was a place. So it was a ghost town. No one was there apart
okay.
from family, and it was called Pie Town. And basically, you guessed it, that they made pies, but not like an English pie. You know what I mean, with like meat inside of it and all that. It was like fruit pies and sweet pies. It was really
Okay.
vibe on, but it was one of them things where you never thought you'd end up being there. But we went to some really unusual places, but cool at the same time. And I'll always remember going to Pie Town.
Yeah, so like how young were you there when you did that like experience?
I think we mentioned it before. I think it was 8, 8 or 9, or no, older than that. Maybe 10, maybe 10. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I know it was a few years ago. It was before COVID.
But yeah,
But young at the time, but it was just an incredible experience.
that's really how you classify things these days, isn't it? Before
Well,
COVID, after COVID.
I lost track of time during
Yeah, yeah.
before.
Um,
There you go.
so obviously you've grown up a lot since you started doing this. So how has it been going through like puberty and your voice getting deeper and things in like the public eye and in like presenting every week on FYI?
Yeah, obviously my voice has got a little bit deeper from when I was young. Very very high pitched squeaky voice. I'm obviously getting older now. As I say, year 9 started when I was in year 3, year 4. So yeah, it's been all right though, to be honest with you. As I say, FYI is a news show presented by kids for kids, but because I started so young, I was the youngest of the lot. You know, I've had time to grow up on it as well. But it's been fine, yeah.
Yeah. So what is the favorite thing about what you do?
Meeting, everybody, meeting people, just brilliant. As I say, whether that's the cameraman, the sound guy, everyone's lovely, or of course, your big celebrities. I think meeting new people and experiencing, as you say, different places has to be the best part of it. Going to all these incredible places, but also meeting the people there, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And what is the least favorite thing about what you do?
To be honest with you, there's not that many bad things that come with it. Obviously, catching up on the schoolwork isn't ideal, but yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Least favourite thing? I don't think I've got one. To be honest with you. I think it would be
That's
having to
great.
schoolwork, but that's not that bad. Not that much of a chore. To be honest with you, there's not many downsides to it. Not many negatives and a lot of positives.
That's great to find something that you can't think of any negatives and to have that as a future career that you've already like concreted in. It must feel incredible for you.
Yeah, it really is. It's brilliant. And as I say, some of the things I've got to do are just unthinkable, especially at such a young age. Well, hopefully it continues. And if it all did stop tomorrow, I'd be happy with, the amazing things that I've got to do. But as I say, hopefully it all carries on.
That's a great mindset to have. So what would you say is the average week in your life?
Of course, school on the Monday and on the Tuesday. I like my football, so I do my training for me team on a Tuesday night, along with obviously homework each night. Then on a Wednesday, I travel to London near Heathrow at Sky Studios to do my filming there. So that's 3 hours in the car and 3 hours back. So I've got time to catch up and then do the homework.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that on the Wednesday. On the Thursday again, it's probably just a normal day in school. You never know, sometimes as well, maybe an extra reporting day, going somewhere to interview someone or go and report on something. And then on this Saturday, I've got my football again, whether that's for school or for my team. Midfielder, by the way. And as we go, so it's pretty much, it's an ordinary week really, but with a few perks, as I say. Going on a Wednesday every week is great. And then there's usually the extra reporting day once every couple of weeks, once every 3 weeks, going somewhere or interviewing someone. But yeah, it's great at the moment. It's good in the way it's busy, but in a way as well that, I'm still getting my schoolwork in and also enjoying my football outside of it as well.
So, like, obviously you do lots of things with Sky, BAFTA, whatever, but do you want to start making more content for like your own social media channels?
So I do have a YouTube channel that I used to upload on a lot. I don't really I've not used it. It's been untouched for quite a few years now. I'm a big Instagram user. I do like my Instagram. I post a lot on my Instagram account, which is, again, that's going all right at the moment. But yeah, I tend to stay away from Twitter and there's a lot of negativity on Twitter, but I still do occasionally post on there. And I do have an account with Facebook as well. So I've got one for everyone. but I don't really use them as much as I should, to be honest with you. As I say, I use Instagram a lot. I probably should use YouTube more. But yeah, it's the time really. At the moment, I don't seem to have that free time, unfortunately. But you know, when it does free up, you never know. As I say, we'll just see how it goes. But I think it would probably be a good idea to utilize, you know, what I've been able to get. But yeah, maybe, you never know.
Yeah, I was surprised to go on your Instagram. I was like 110K followers. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. I remember the day we got that verified tick. It was like, oh my days. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I do use Instagram a lot. But the other platforms, as I say, I probably should use more than I do.
Yeah, I've actually got some thing here on famousbirthdays.com. You've got a page, and you're
What?
apparently the 26th most popular 14-year-old Instagram star.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was on that.
No,
Brilliant.
apparently,
So,
yeah,
that's
you're
all
an
right.
you're an Instagram star on that. You're not a TV presenter or an Instagram star.
No, forget that. Instagram star.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
needs to be at the
think-
top of your bio now.
Of course, I don't know how many people are on it on that, but I'm sure there's quite a few. So I'm quite happy with that. Quite happy with that.
You-
That's great that I'm on it. I didn't know.
Yeah, you're also the 5th most popular first name, Braydon.
Well, there can't be many of them, but that's good news. Good news. Great that I'm
you're
on
the-
it. No,
You're the third last name Bent.
I'll take that. I'm happy with that.
You're the 17th March 6th Instagram star.
That's pretty good. That's a good start. I'll have that one.
And the
Wait,
20th.
So we found out there's only 17 of them.
Yeah, but you're sadly only the 68,000 most popular person on it.
Would you quickly check how many people are on it? I'm interested now. I'll have to find out. We'll have to find out this. I think this is great news. Thanks for telling me this.
I don't know.
So what am I?
I think there's quite a lot of people because you're the 68,000 person most
It's got
popular
more, yeah.
person. So there's like about 68,000, if not more.
Brilliant. Great.
Oh, pretty good there.
It says there's about. Yeah, let me get it up. How many? What is it called? Famous birthdays.
Famousbirthdays.com.
Let me check. 210,000. That's
Oh,
pretty good. I'll take that.
yeah.
I'm doing all right there. There's
Bit of an
200
ego boost there for you.
I'm happy with that. Well, thanks for that. But yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. It just came up when I was researching you. So I was like, yeah, I'll click on that website and see if it gives me any more info.
Brilliant. Yeah, as I say, I've stumbled over at the start. 6th of March, just turned 14 now. How old are you?
I'm 14, but I'm in year 10 now. So
Yeah.
I was June 2008.
Well, you're a young year 10 then.
Yeah, I'm a young year 10, but
It's all right. It's good. So yeah, so
Yeah.
you're closer than I am, obviously, to my GCSE or GCSEs then, aren't you?
Next year.
What did you pick?
Well, it's quite limited selection, to be honest, at my school. Drama wasn't an option, which is sad.
Yeah. Oh God.
No.
You've been good at that.
Yeah, I do a bit of drama outside of school.
Yeah.
But I picked obviously maths, English, triple science, French, history over geography,
Yeah, I did. History.
and then media.
Oh, we don't have that as an option. There you go. You got one more.
Well, it's
Good.
kind of ICT mixed with media. Well, it's
We have ICT, but not IME. That's pretty cool then. But yeah,
yeah,
obviously, I hope it all goes well for you. Good luck.
yeah, and then food technology.
Did you? No, we don't
Yeah.
have that at the moment. I think that starts next year at my school.
Yeah.
Good job anyway. I'm rubbish at it.
Yeah, I would have picked actually RE, but they don't offer. Oh no, they do offer it at GCC, but you have to do it after school. So I was like, oh, well,
Well, they wouldn't. We got his subject in. I think RE's a good one. Just I don't know. I just find it interesting. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's not always about religion with RE.
No, it's more like philosophical.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
word.
Well, yeah. You're right. You're right. Well, they changed it actually in my school to philosophy, I think, ethnics and religion. So there's a few in
Ah.
it. Yeah, you're right. But I find it interesting, so why not? It was just, But I think we've done all right there. But good luck with yours. You know, they're
Thank you.
close.
Good luck. Good
I've
luck with
got a
yours.
bit longer. Bit
Yeah.
longer. But yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll move on to the last question. So I want to eventually become a TV presenter. So that is one of the reasons why I started this podcast. So what advice would you give to me on becoming a TV presenter?
So I think definitely, as we mentioned before, whatever subject you're doing, you have to read up on it. You know, you got to really know it. So as I use with politics, I'm not a massive fan of it, but you got to learn about it to do it.
Yeah.
Create your own content, which of course you're doing at the moment. You know, with this podcast, it's a great thing to do. I think that's really important. And one that I didn't mention before has to be embracing opportunities. You know, taking each
Yeah.
opportunity and then hopefully, because I believe that from experience, something leads to the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, and through me, that's exactly what's happened. One thing's gone to the next, and whether that's a competition or working with Sky, it always has something that comes off the back of it. So I definitely say embracing opportunities. And overall, as I say, be yourself. I mean, I know everybody says it. It's one of them cheesy lines, now. But I think putting your own spin on things is super important because, as you say, anyone can read from a piece of paper. Anyone can read off a screen, off a laptop. It's nothing special. But to be able to do it in a way where you make it sound natural and put your own personality on it really changes it. So they were there. I think the three main things or the four main things that I would say.
Yeah, great advice there.
Good luck with the TV presenting, and I hope it goes well.
Thank you. You say about embracing opportunities and the next thing leading on to the next. What my mum applied for me to be on this competition last year, I think it was, on CBBC Saturday Mashup. Where they would like surprise you with someone from your dream like job to work in. So they surprised me with Claudia Winkleman, and then I went on a BBC Radio 2 show and asked her there to come on my show. And then obviously that interview led on to many other interviews I've been doing ever since, because obviously in an email it looks so much better when you've got like a recognizable name where you've interviewed someone before.
But of course, doesn't matter where you start, as you say, it's brilliant that one thing led to the next. Doesn't matter who you get first, as long as you start and as long as you're getting somewhere and making progress, that's all that matters. But as you say, you didn't do too bad for your first one, and
No.
Thanks for having me on as well.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you for coming on. Okay, thank you again. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night.
And yourself. Have a good evening, mate.
Okay, you too. Bye. So hopefully you enjoyed my interview with the amazing Braydon Bent. I do want to say a big thank you to Braydon for letting me interview him. If you do want to check out more from Braydon, the link to all of his socials are in the description below. I'm sorry, I recently have been inconsistent with the releasing of episodes, and I'm going to try and start to be more consistent again and aiming to release an episode every 2 weeks on Sunday at 1 o'clock, so hopefully I can do it. So bearing that in mind, on Tuesday, the 23rd of May. It will be the Brit Kids Show's 3-year anniversary since the first episode. So to celebrate that, the next episode will be a special celebrating the past 3 years, which will be released on Sunday, the 21st of May. In that episode, we will be looking back at the past 3 years, showing some behind the scenes and my plans for the future. So don't forget to join me on the Sunday, the 21st of May at 1 o'clock to celebrate 3 years of the Brit Kids Show. That's all we've got time for in this episode. We will be back on the 21st of May with a 3-year anniversary special. Please share this video with your friends and family. Like, comment, listen to last week's episode if you haven't already. Listen to this show until the end. Email me, follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe. In the meantime, if you have any suggestions to make the show better, or if you want the chance to come on the show, comment below, message me on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, or email me at thebritkidshow@gmail.com. So that is all we have time for this week. We will be back on the 21st of May at the same time, but for now, goodbye.
Bringing you a kid-friendly radio show every Saturday afternoon on YouTube, broadcasting live at 1 o'clock.